And welcome to our show, Geeks Wired Podcast, where we talk about video games, movies, TV, comic books, technology, and TLDR, the Internet of Things. I'm your host, Bill, and the other host is Anthony.
Hi, Bill.
Hi. And you can contact us by emailing us at geekswired@gmail.com or send us a voicemail or a text message at 801-896-4335. That's also 801-896-GEEK. You also can help support us by going to our Patreon page at patreon.com/geekswired, where you also would not only help us, but you also get access to the podcast early, depending on the tier you help us with. And we're going to start off this week with MacBooks running parallel.
I mean, you got the words, but not necessarily in the right order.
Parallel on MacBook?
No, I mean...
All right, you explain.
So, Parallels is it's a virtual machine software for Macs, and it just lets you run Windows applications, like using actual Windows instead of using something like Crossover, which uses Wine underneath. Now they will, like, you can easily run Windows 10 for ARM on a Mac using Parallels. You could kind of do it before, but it was kind of like finicky, and I don't think you could use Parallels. It was like an open source VM style, and it ran like fast, but wasn't like, I don't think the sound worked very well, or if it did, like, there were no drivers really for it that worked well. So, but they released it now, I guess, and apparently it's up to 30% faster than Windows 10 VM running on an Intel-based MacBook, but with an i9 processor. But the caveat I'll say with that is it's not necessarily an apples-to-apples comparison, because the Intel one was...
You said apples to apples. On an apple.
I mean, it applies, because it literally is apples to apples.
Actually, I thought it was apples to Windows.
No, because you're comparing the Intel MacBook with the M1 MacBook, so it's literally apples to apples.
Okay.
But the Intel one was probably running, and I'm pretty sure that it was running the Intel version of Windows 10, whereas the M1 is running the ARM version of Windows 10.
Which I have lots and lots and lots of issues with. Personal,
I don't.
obviously.
Yeah, but I don't like that Windows RT thing that you had.
And no, but this is not RT. It's like one of a dozen.
Oh, I know that. I know. But that one was, I wouldn't really classify that as like Windows, because I don't know that it was based off Windows. Like, it could run Windows software, but only software that was built for that.
Well, there's even like Windows R, or I don't know. They came out so many, like, they kept throwing
there's a Windows
on.
R, and I think this one is like, the one for ARM is like Windows X.
Sure.
Which, I mean, is Windows 10.
Yeah.
Or is it Windows 10X? I can look it up real quick.
Yeah, but what makes Windows good, what is the power hogness that it is, and it grabs your apps and it holds onto them, and it requires lots and lots of power, so which means when they end up like stripping away all this like overhead resourceness to make a smaller, more refined version of Windows, which is RT, R, X, everything. I would argue this one too, but I'll admit I haven't played with this one, but I just am disappointed with the stripped down Windows. They need to start all over instead of stripping it back.
This one, this version of ARM isn't stripped down.
Okay.
It's like, you can even run x86 apps on it.
Install an exe on it also?
Yeah, you can. Okay. Yeah, you've been able to install an exe on it. Like, it's not locked down like the old Windows ARM computers were.
All right.
And so, but like I said, I don't think it's an apples to apples comparison when they said it runs 30% faster, just because while I said it's not a stripped down version of Windows, I don't know that it's the same. Like, I don't know how much of it's the same. I don't know if it's using like an emulator of sort. Well, it's obviously emulating it, but like for the x86 stuff, I don't know if it's like emulating that to work correctly, like using x86 like DLLs and stuff to use it, and like translating that on the fly, or if, like, I don't know how much they've rewritten for it to work on ARM.
Well, currently, Windows 10 on ARM, when I say, I mean literally currently, it is only x86 apps. It will not run 64.
Correct.
They're working on that.
Yeah, they're working on it. And which is something Apple has a one-up on, because, I mean, Windows Mac only runs 64-bit. Like I think the last version, even like the last version of Mac OS 10, only let you run 64-bit apps, which was frustrating at first, but I mean, nearly almost every app was 64-bit anyways. So only a handful of by a handful, I mean like 2 or 3 of my apps didn't end up working, and most of them got updated. So, but.
And the only way to get your hands on a Windows 10 ARM is to do the preview build from the Windows Insider website. Yeah,
which is actually way easier than I thought it would be. Like, you can actually just go on there and download it without an account or anything. Like, nice. You don't need to be in the Insider program to get it. Because I actually have it running. I'm pretty sure I could open it up right now.
But, yeah.
Maybe I deleted it.
Yeah, it's possible. It's all right. But I really hope that they build this well, so it's not this, smaller, more lightweight Pi version that has no abilities.
It's not. It has all that stuff. Like, it's a fully featured OS.
And you have to sign in. Which is funny, the fact that you said you didn't sign in, and I'm usually always signed in, and it's yelling at me.
Let me click on that.
For listeners, it's part of the Verge page that'll be in the show notes.
Mine's not wanting to load.
Aww.
Why?
All the ads. My fast internet, those are wonderful things.
Yes, your fast internet.
Yes. There we go. I logged in. As soon as I logged in.
Oh, you can get it?
You can get it.
Okay. So maybe I was logged in and I just didn't realize it.
But I hope they do well this time.
I mean, like I said, it's a fully featured OS, and the only thing holding them back is just that there's like no Windows, like there's no programs, like I say no, but there's not a lot of programs that are written for both ARM and x86, which is Intel / AMD, and that's the big holding point for it. And Apple was the same way, but they have a nice translation layer that seem like Rosetta 2.
Yeah.
You've heard of that, right, Bill?
No. What is it?
You haven't?
When you said Rosetta, I was thinking of the language.
Oh.
One.
So Rosetta. Oh, it finally loaded. Oh, anyways.
Then you have to log in.
Yeah. So Rosetta, back when they switched from PowerPC to Intel, Rosetta 1 was just something that let you run PowerPC apps on Intel. And it also did a pretty good job, but I think that was mostly down to Windows, PowerPC, like Intel having just more processing power versus PowerPC, at least for the power input. And with this time, Rosetta 2, it translates x86 / 64. Basically, it translates Intel code over to the ARM code, and it does it. Like, I think in the Rosetta 1, it just did it on the fly, but I think on this one, it actually, because when you first open the app for the first time, and it's an Intel one, it'll do the bouncy animation that Mac does whenever you open a program. Mm-hmm. And it does it for quite a while, like 5 to 10 seconds, sometimes up to 20. And what it's doing there is it's translating stuff, like pre-translating stuff, so it'll run faster.
Ah, nice.
And so they have a really nice, basically they have a really nice emulation layer. And if I open up my activity monitor, they have a thing that actually tells you what kind of architecture it is. I have a lot of stuff on here that's still Intel. Like Signal, Spotify, my RDP stuff, not my RD, WebStorm, which is a coding IDE, Discord, like they're all running on that. And that's like going back to Windows. That's the biggest thing holding them back is they can't seem to get like a good translation layer for it.
Mm-hmm.
And they have one for x86, but not for 64-bit stuff. So x86 is 32-bit, and I keep saying x86, so I put that in there. And they're working on 64-bit for it, but it's still not there. And I think I've heard that the 32-bit version like of it isn't super great yet either. Like it works sort of, but not great. Like it's not polished enough to where they're happy with it, I think, basically.
Yeah, well, it is still preview build, so well, and I guess with the Apples they're doing their stuff. Windows is still preview build. It'll get there with luck. It'll be better, right?
I mean, that Windows has to put like all like their eggs in one basket for this. Not their eggs. They have to just put more investment into it. Like actually go all in. They can't do what they did with the Kinect on the Xbox, for example.
Oh, they went all in with that. They just
went
decided.
They went all in, and then they pulled back at like 2/3 of the way through.
And then they decided to throw that technology into conference rooms.
No, and then they decided to try to push it on everybody on the Xbox One, and then got a lot of flack for it, and so they pulled that back, and then they just discontinued it. So,
well, it's not in the gaming market anymore. Like I said, it's in the corporate market now.
But
or the technology is.
It's just something that Windows and their phone's the same way.
They were late to that. They were honestly.
It's not just that they were late though. Like they had a good user interface. Like out of all the user interfaces I've used, that's actually the one I think I enjoyed the most for a phone. Because they had the tile-based system, and it actually worked pretty well. In fact, when I had my iPhone jailbroken, my iPhone 4, I had a home screen replacement that made it into a Windows 10 UI or a Windows Mobile UI, which was fun. I liked it.
Maybe I'll have to download that and play with it again.
But
me being Android and can do that.
And
they have
I don't care.
They have a setup on it. Microsoft does. You can just like flip it around.
Oh, like they have something that you can install? Oh, that's cool. But Windows just has to like not go all in, but actually like invest a good amount of money and a good amount of like marketing into this, like Apple did for theirs.
Mm-hmm.
Or they could even like try to go all in. I don't think they'll be able to because of what Windows is, but it's possible.
Yeah. Well, they could do what Apple's done and what they tried to do with the Kinect when they're like, y'all get it. Because that was things like before it was like who all had a Kinect. Why are people, should we make a game for it? Well, who all has it? We don't know. We can like kind of look at the numbers of who bought Kinects separately with the Xbox One. It's like who all has a Kinect? Everybody. Is it hooked up? That's a different question. But everybody has a Kinect. So make games for it. Make software for it. But Apple can, where they just release like, we are getting rid of the fingerprint and you're just going to use your face. Deal with it. That's what Microsoft could do. Just, you're going to give us Slack? Yeah, we're still number one. What are you going to do? You're going to go to Apple? Sure. Have fun. You can do that, or you can come back, or you can not move, or you can go to Linux. Learning a new OS really sucks sometimes.
The thing is with that is Microsoft doesn't make the hardware. They just make the software. So it's hard. Like, they could just be like, we're not going to put any more security. Like, well, they can't because they actually have to support it for 7 years. But they could just say that we're not going to do any updates. We'll just do security updates like they did with Windows 7 for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And Windows XP and actually Technica, like all of them actually. But they could do that. I don't think that would be a good idea for them.
True.
Especially because I think a lot of their money still comes from the corporate world. by far, probably.
But they still have lots of power, though, with the corporate world, too. Because the corporate world...
They do, but the reason for that is because they have to maintain backwards compatibility.
Yeah, but they have a hand in hand relationship, which means if Microsoft decides to move a direction and Dell and HP say no, Microsoft literally could go, fine, Windows is not allowed on your computers. Have fun with that.
Can they? Like, do you have to be a partnership?
Because
for OEMs?
Or they have to do some payment or anything like that, and they could go, we're not going to support your computers. Which means you can buy it after your users could buy it afterwards, I guess, but then it may not work properly. And HP released, they might still have a Linux build out there. They don't sell well. They sell, but...
Dell has some, too, that just have Linux on them.
Yeah, they sell, but they're not their number one sellers.
Mm-mm.
But on the other side, yes, it would hurt Microsoft if they were to do that.
Yeah,
it would hurt both of them just as much.
Yeah, and Microsoft, I don't think would win.
I don't think anybody would win.
No.
Like, it's not that I don't think one of them would come out as a winner. I don't think anybody would win from that, because the computer companies need Microsoft, and Microsoft needs computer companies, because neither of them build the other one's stuff, either one at all or two very well.
Well, here's the thing. If they were to just push and only support the ARM build after a while, and the manufacturers were okay with it, they're fine.
Yeah.
But they would have to just... I think they're going to have to heavily incentivize manufacturers to start producing them.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to have a good, chip, because, Raspberry Pis, they're ARM-based. They're not known as the fastest thing ever.
True.
Even the new, 4, it has a lot of RAM and stuff, but it's still not, super fast, and that's mostly because it's trying to be cheap.
Though...
And, phones, unless you have, a flagship, they also tend to not be super fast either.
True.
At least after a year or two. And it could very well be that the same thing happens with these if they just put in off-the-shelf chips, whereas with Apple they can they're making their own so they can tweak it. And they actually understand they can develop for it a lot better than Windows could, since they have control over the hardware, basically, is what all that amounts to. But
and also I forgot the next thing we were going to talk about. It doesn't look like Microsoft is even thinking about going in that direction fully, with their new Surface Laptop 4 having a choice of AMD or Intel.
I still think they'll make a ARM one, but I think they're mostly going with AMD because Intel just can't produce the results anymore, and AMD just keeps going up as far as performance goes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, AMD is a lot more power hungry, and so you have to put in better cooling stuff, but cooling technologies, at least for their desktop stuff. I don't know about their mobile stuff. Their mobile stuff might actually be pretty okay.
Well, and then they also have their GPUs. They still have the Ryzen APUs and the GPUs and all the pretty powerful.
Yeah, and they won't have dedicated graphics, but the Intel ones don't either. I guess can you get ones with a NVIDIA GPU in them? I thought you could. Maybe you can't. But generally those really tiny computers, those, not really tiny, but the slimmer laptops.
So the Intel is going to use, the AMD is going to use the Ryzen APUs, all-in-one processing units, while Intel is going to be using the i5s with an Intel Iris Xe integrated graphics. So basically, Intel's...
it's an Intel APU.
Yeah.
I don't know why they just don't call it. Maybe it's because I wonder if AMD has a trademark on that.
But no, actually, no. Intel's is more of the onboard. It's just it's not. Intel's will not be made for gaming. Like their Intel graphics are not powerful enough for gaming. Like,
No.
it even says that. Like,
But the APUs really aren't either. Like they'll do it, and they'll do it better than Intel will. But it's still like I still wouldn't get it for gaming. It might do light gaming, but the Intel one would too. So
well, they're saying that it can. Like at least the AMD ones supposedly they are able to get games to play on it well-ish, better than the Intels by levels.
oh, okay, that's why they don't call it an APU. I'm pretty sure they do have it trademarked based on what I'm reading.
Well, there you go.
But they're basically like APUs are just integrated graphics processors.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same idea, just can't call it APU for Intel. But yeah, but back to this, I'm not surprised that they did this. HP has some laptops that are AMD, and when I heard about them from Lance Tech Tips, I was in the market for looking for a laptop at the time, and went on to HP's website, sold out.
Yeah.
Wasn't going to be back anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Microsoft is the next one, unless Dell might have one. And if they don't, they will soon, I'm pretty sure, because even their servers, like you can get AMD EPYC servers from Dell, which are huge. Like this core count on those CPUs is just ridiculous. It's amazing.
Yeah. And obviously, and the Intels are going to cost more, but the Intels can get more RAM in them and bigger hard drives in them, and
the Intel one.
That's what they're selling them with. The ones where they even out is about, for the 13.5 inch, even out-ish, is, for the 13.5, it's the AMD Ryzen 5 with 16 gigs of RAM for $1,200, while the comparable, actually there isn't a comparable. The Intels actually start at less RAM, but double the hard drive. Yeah, Intel's even the...
Well, AMD, you can't get 32 gigs. You can only get 16.
On the 13. On the 15, you can get...
No.
You can get 16.
Yeah, you can get 16. You can't get 32.
32, yeah.
Which is... There's no limitation on that as far as, like...
Yeah, okay.
The processor goes, so... That's a thing that they're doing. I'm not sure why.
And there's a $100 difference between AMD and Intel for the side-by-side-ish comparison.
I mean, 16 gigabytes is enough for most people, but still.
I need 2 terabytes.
For the hard drive?
No. RAM.
Yeah, good luck.
It only costs like $4,000. Maybe $2,000.
For 2 terabytes of RAM?
Yeah.
You're way off.
8. I don't know. Right now, you start going that high in RAM, the price starts getting ridiculous.
Mostly because it's ECC, because the only ones who want RAM that high are usually servers, and they need ECC.
You can have a desktop that...
I know someone who has 192 gigabytes of RAM.
Yeah?
He only uses, I think the most he's ever used is like 60.
Oh. But think about, he could
load his entire OS on there in memory.
Yeah.
And still have a ton of space left for...
And play the games and edit the Photoshops.
Well, it's a Mac.
He can still edit the Photoshops and play some of the games. You can still play ESO on that.
I mean, with that one, it does have because it's the Mac Pro, it's the cheese grater. So he can actually put in a better graphics card, and he has a better one. It's mostly just for video editing, but,
Yeah.
But that's cool that Microsoft is like that. I'm not sure why they're only letting you have 16, because, in my opinion, 16 is the new 8.
Yes.
Like a couple of years ago, 8 was like the standard. And I mean, 8's still the standard, but 8 used to be good enough.
I still don't.
Whereas now it's not.
I don't even get 8 on my phone. If I see 8 gigs of RAM for a phone, I usually start looking elsewhere.
I don't even know how much is in my phone.
Mine currently has 12, and I actually very much enjoy that. I was looking at the next-gen phones, and where they were wanting to do either 6 or 8, I was like, no, I'm not going to. I haven't looked recently to see if they've opened up the higher version yet. But yeah, I like my 12 gigs of RAM on my phone.
I got 6.
Nice.
But I felt like iOS doesn't really need a whole lot. So
yeah. So I have 12 gigs of RAM and 512 storage. That also, I figured out, has to be high. It's much more comfortable.
I think mine. Yeah, I went for because the base for the 12 I think the 12 Pro starts at 128, and I went one up, so I had a 256. Just because I hardly ever ran out of on my 64 gigabyte iPhone 8.
Mm-hmm.
So
true.
I just went up higher just because it wasn't that much more money, and to me it was worth it. But
between the apps that I haven't been uninstalling them as often. I have tons of podcasts that I've just tell to auto download. Sometimes I get to them, sometimes I just delete them. I have audiobooks. I have music. I actually have not been downloading videos recently, but it's
because you're always on Wi-Fi. And
I don't really watch videos on my phone.
I was about to say that. Okay, you do, but they're in the form of 60 to 2 minutes.
No.
I've had one video so far that's 2 minutes.
Okay, they do go up to 5, actually. I do know that for a fact. I have had one that is 3 minutes. They are ridiculously far and few between, and I think for a TikTok video to be anything over 60 minutes is actually...
60 seconds.
60 seconds, yeah. Over 60 seconds is some type of... They're in a special category that TikTok allows to exist. I don't think the average person can... I've not even when I look.
I don't think so either, because I've only seen one. And... It threw me for a loop because he said, I'll do the rest. Actually, I sent it to you.
Was that over 60 seconds?
When it said, stick around for part 2. Just kidding. This is part 2. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I thought that was like 30 seconds.
That was 2 minutes.
That was? Wow. Then they're actually starting to roll out a lot more. They said they were going to allow longer than 60-second videos about 6 months ago, and that's when I saw my first 3-minute one. I have to admit that it was interesting. It was totally interesting. They did just enough effort to keep my attention, but the biggest problem is that since I can't fast forward or rewind, basically, especially rewind. Like if I go like, hey, I missed that. I want to check that out. Just a moment. Just send me back 10 seconds.
They need something like podcasts where you can go back 10 seconds or forward 10 seconds.
Yeah.
At the very least.
At the very least, go back 10 seconds. Just so I can see it. Because I do not want to watch a 3-5-minute video, whatever, just to catch that one thing that I didn't quite catch. I'm not watching this video multiple times. You might get lucky to even get me to watch it once.
We're talking about TikTok, by the way.
Yeah, I said that earlier.
Did we?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, I didn't. And I must have missed that part. But
we're talking about TikTok. We're still saying it. Because, yeah.
Yeah, I actually wish they had that because a lot of times, even the 1-minute ones, I'll miss what the first little bit was about, or I'll miss what they said, and I'm halfway through it, and I was like, do I care? Yeah. So you go swipe up, swipe back.
Mm-hmm.
Start over.
I will do that if I miss the first, 3 seconds, and I'm like, I didn't catch that. Swipe. Okay.
Or the best part is if you need to freeze frame it to actually read whatever's there, because sometimes they have stuff that you want to read, and you miss it because it's only on the screen for a second. And it's halfway through the video.
Yeah.
And you got to start over. And then you miss it again.
Yeah. That's definitely a thing. At least you can pause theirs. Reels is...
Which one? Who's Reels?
Instagram.
Okay.
Reels.
So Facebook. Got it.
Yeah. If you tap on it, you mute it. Yeah, that is the stupidest thing. They auto rotate. So if you don't, we're like, oh, I want to watch that again because I missed a little thing.
That is actually the norm because Snapchat's like that, and that's probably why they did that. TikTok's is actually weird where it'll just replay.
See, I
like that. I'm not saying I don't.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that TikTok is the odd one because they do that. And I don't want them to change it though.
Maybe if there was an option to let it just scroll on its own.
Sometimes I would like that because sometimes I just set my phone down and I just want to listen to it.
Yeah.
But not all TikToks are like that. You actually have to watch some of them.
And You're right. Their TikTok is the odd one out because what's the I forget. There's another American-made one that is they auto rotate through them.
YouTube does it. They have stuff like that. They have stories. Not a lot of people use it because that's not what YouTube's for, but
Yeah, there's actually YouTube does have a TikTok competitor. I forget what it's called. I actually ran into it and ended up following a few people I had on it. I want to say Umbrella or theirs is. I don't remember if theirs auto rotates or not.
yeah, I feel like we're missing a social media. Twitter doesn't have anything like that, right?
I don't think they have any. And Shorts. It's called Shorts on YouTube.
Oh, okay. I think I knew. I think we've talked about it before. Yes.
At least when they came out. Yeah.
Those are the words.
I definitely absolutely like TikTok's ability to only look at the people I'm following. I really like Instagram Reels. Terrible. Can't do it. I forgot what YouTube's already was again. Shorts. Can't do it. You have to...
Really? Because you can do that on normal YouTube. I'm surprised they won't let you on that one.
I know. Well, technically, you can do that on Instagram, too. You can go look at everybody's Instagrams or, that's the other thing is also
actually,
interesting.
Instagram is mostly just who you follow anyways.
No, that's the thing. Instagram is different from the others. So Instagram, you open up your app and you are instantly into your followers. Unless you hit the end. That's a different story. If you follow two people and you've run through everything, you've seen all their stuff, they will show things like what you follow at the bottom. Now, but that's new. Or you can also go to search and you can scroll through the general public, and that's what they recommend. While YouTube, Facebook is you're following too. So I guess YouTube and
Shorts.
They are YouTube Shorts and what they will yes YouTube and what is
Reels.
Not Reels. I forget. YouTube has you go to the general feed.
Oh,
is what I mean with that. So like I said, Instagram is the unique where you open the app and you are in who you are following. The others drop you into the general public with your following sprinkled in. And Facebook, you get your following.
Actually, I think with YouTube, it's the other way around. At least with the app proper, not Shorts. I don't know about Shorts because I'm not on that. I don't plan to be. But with YouTube proper, it's mostly what you're subscribed to, but they will throw in stuff that you've watched a lot of.
Yes. Well, there will be that. But if you want to only see
you can do trend.
You have to go to that page.
Which page?
Your followers. It will sprinkle in.
Yes, on the home page. For me, at least, it's mostly it'll show stuff that I'm subscribed to. A lot of their social stuff, which isn't on the subscribe page, on the subscribed page, and then it'll also put in channels that I've watched a lot of, and then it'll throw in stuff that is very similar that I've watched before. But
yes, that's with Instagram and even with Shorts, it will sprinkle your stuff in, and it probably depends on how much there is. But with YouTube, you have
mine's different.
Go to subscriptions. You have to. Yes, I see who.
Well, I knew about that. I'll go to subscriptions almost anyways, but
and even with TikTok, it drops you. Actually, I was thinking TikTok drops you into the general public, the For You page. And then you can swipe over to your following. At least I can go look at just my followers.
Yeah, this is the stuff that YouTube has. I'm scrolling through their little stories thing. Mm-hmm. I never look at them almost.
I started to because I found a few people had Shorts, and I was like, oh, even left a comment and got oh yeah, they liked it.
But yeah, most of mine is the channels I'm subscribed to. A lot of stuff from Simon. Do you know his name? I don't remember his name. His first name's Simon.
I don't remember.
You know who it is, though, right? He looks familiar.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, the guy that I'm talking about is his channels are today I found out biographics, geographics, mega projects and side projects, and I think he has like 2 or 3 more. He has a lot of channels, and they're all really successful.
That's good.
But yeah, it's mostly. I clicked on it. Didn't mean to click it. It's Simon Whistler, by the way.
Ah,
I had to click on the. That was super convenient.
yay!
I accidentally clicked on a video and his name just showed up in the bottom left corner. Yeah, it's mostly that stuff I've watched or stuff that is slightly irrelevant, and it shows news every once in a while too. But
yeah, it's stuff that I have, and yes, there's a lot of things on my followers that I will be on my page because I like their stuff, but it will sprinkle in, hey, you probably like these, and that's why I'm like,
But yeah, I'll concede to what you're saying.
Followers. I want a section just show me who I follow.
Actually, for TikTok, I have not gone to my followers page in forever.
That's what I go to. I open the app. I might flip through the For You page every once in a while, but I go to my followers. Like, actually, there was even a long time. That was what I do. Open the app, flip to who I was following. Didn't even care what the first video was on my For You page. Or it was somebody I followed anyways. And then I just go through that. I actually hit an end to my For You page, or my followers page, because I followed so few and they were only posting so much. But like, all right, which was a nice break for me too, because I'm like, oh, I guess I'm at the end of my stuff. There's nowhere to scroll. Guess I'll just close the app and go away.
That's mostly why I have mine set to. I think I can spend up to 30 minutes on social media on my phone. But you can extend it. Like the first time you can extend it a minute. You can either extend it a minute, 15 minutes, or just ignore it for the rest of the day and just use it. The next time it nags you, you don't have the 1 minute option anymore because it figures you're not going to press it.
Yeah.
And so you only have the 15 and then the do not ignore. So it's nice because it lets me have, worst case, I spend 15 minutes on it when I really only wanted to spend an hour. Like, not an hour, sorry. A minute or 2.
Yeah.
And I have the option of getting off, which has a 50-50 chance.
Yeah.
But it goes down the more, like, the chances of me getting off goes up each time I see it because I know that it's been that long. And it's also kind of somewhat scary because you can just easily spend that much time on it.
Yeah. Get a realization with it. It's like, oh, yeah.
But
so the other things I was wanting to talk about, more Microsoft.
So OneDrive is basically Dropbox, but Windows, or Google Drive, but the Windows version. And apparently it wasn't 64-bit, it was only 32-bit, which isn't a big deal for most people, but I guess with the 32-bit one, it had a size limit on the files, at least, that had a size limit on the size of a file, which is strange to me. Like, I understand the reason why, like, it makes sense, but there's ways around it. Like, it didn't have to be that. They could have put in a thing to get around that limitation. It's not like with operating systems that were limited to 4 gigabytes because that was how much their address space was. They could have easily made a 64-bit address space on a computer and still only had a 32-bit processor, because old computers in the past did that. Like your 8-bit systems, which the Nintendo Entertainment System was 8-bit, wasn't it? Anyways, they would that part doesn't matter, but they would often have memory buses that were bigger than the CPU bus was.
Yeah.
Just because they needed it then. So they could have easily done it. They just didn't because 64-bit was, I'm assuming this is the reason, but 64-bit was on the horizon and most people didn't need that much RAM anyways, so they didn't bother. But it's strange to me that this app wasn't 64-bit.
I think I vaguely remember as I was like looking through things, I found that out a while ago. I was like, interesting. I just kind of moved on with my life, but I was like, yeah. Because I like to try to get everything into the 64-bit realm. So it's kind of weird when I have the 32-bit installed items, or I can only do 32 bits, and I'm like, oh, okay, whatever.
I have never had a situation where I've had to, like, that's been an issue for me.
Well, it's not bad. I just was like, I'm preferring the 64, but I'm just pushing everything in. If I ever get an option like, oh, you want to download the 64?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I'm like, totally go for the 64.
There's no reason to get the 32-bit. Unless you only have a 32-bit system, which is basically no one.
Well, time to upgrade from Windows 7. Get your Windows 10 for free.
Actually, I think most Windows 7 systems, at least that were shipped with it, were 64-bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I actually can't think of any. I think even my stupid little tiny... Because I got a little tablet thing on Black Friday once that was a fully featured, like, Windows 8.
Yeah.
Thinking it was going to be the bee's knees. It sucked. I used it like twice, but that doesn't matter. It had a cool screen. Like, the screen was nice. It was pretty, but anyways, it had like a little tiny Intel Atom processor, but I'm pretty sure it was 64-bit still.
All right.
Like, you have to be super pressed to get a 32-bit processor. So, like, I think Windows 10 has this 32-bit version, but it's only for backwards compatibility just because they were pushing it for even older systems too.
Wait, they do have a 32-bit version. It's called Windows 10 ARM.
No. Actually, most ARM systems are 64-bit too.
No, Windows 10 ARM.
64-bit.
I know, but Windows 10 ARM. Remember, they don't have 64-bit out yet. It's still 32.
No.
They're working on their 64.
That's for the x86, x60. That's for the Windows stuff, like the normal, like the Intel EXEs. That's for that. Though, I don't know that Windows 10 for ARM is 64-bit. It should be.
It should. No, that was the thing. They're working on it.
I think when they said they were working on it, I'm pretty sure that was for the emulator. The Intel app emulator.
Parallel?
No. Parallels, no. So within ARM, like Windows 10 for ARM, they have an emulator that lets you run Intel apps.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure that when they said they were working on it, unless you're talking about OneDrive 64-bit app.
No, I was talking about the Windows 10 ARM.
No, okay. Then I'm pretty sure they can just run 64-bit because in that context that you were talking about, they were talking about the actual like Intel app emulator for it.
Oh.
Pretty sure.
App emulation. You're right.
Hey.
Okay. Be proud.
Can we talk about the car thing for a little bit?
All right. Let us.
One of them. One of your four.
Yeah, we're
Doesn't
gonna
matter.
have links to Spotify and a bunch of other news articles.
Links for days. So is this something that Bluetooth? Sorry. I guess I should start off with what this is. It's I think they call it the car thing. Yeah, it is literally called that. It's called the car thing, and it's basically like a LCD Spotify player with a big knob on the right to help you navigate. And it's supposed to be for cars that don't have like Android or Apple's CarPlay, like,
or maybe your head unit just doesn't work with it.
Works just fine on my phone in your car.
Yeah, it works with Apple. Doesn't work with Android.
Auto. It might just be your phone.
I don't know. I've already.
That's why I wanted to try see how your phone acted in my car.
Yeah.
I wanted to see if it was just your phone. Or
We might be able to still try that out, but back on this. So, Spotify is releasing its car thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. We're just not making fun of it, calling it a car thing. A thing for your car. It is actually called a car thing.
So what's weird to me is in the subheader for this article it says ships for free, but if you look down lower it says it's free. You pay for shipping.
Yes, that is actually everywhere else I have seen is that it is free, but you pay for shipping if you get it. That's the biggest thing, is if you get it. So this is Spotify's little box thing that you plug in. It works via Bluetooth or an aux or even a USB cable, and has USB-C, I think is what I was reading somewhere. So USB-C to USB-A. there is.
Does it communicate with your phone? Is that how it gets its music? Because that was the biggest thing I was wondering. Like, what's its data connection? I'm guessing it's Bluetooth to your phone, because otherwise you have to maintain a cell connection somehow.
Well, it could be. I think it's supposed to be like Sirius XM and all that.
But Sirius XM uses satellite, and it can only do that because it's just broadcasting out all the things, whereas Spotify isn't like that. Spotify, you don't have a set number of channels. You have
Music,
whatever people want to listen to. So,
and also it's supposed to be very hands-free, so a lot of excluding that dial that's on it.
yeah, but they make the dial big, so it's like you can actually interface with it and without having to take because the biggest downside with touch-based stuff is because there's no tactile feedback, you have to look where your hand is pointing for the most part to actually see what you're pressing, which takes your eyes away from the road, which is bad.
All right, so car things require. So that's the other thing. So if you can get this, you have to have a Spotify Premium account. You have to go to Spotify and you have to sign up on the list. And if you're approved, they give it to you. You pay for shipping and you get it. When it comes out, I think they were saying it's going to be like $89 is what the expectation was once it's finally released. But to use it, you need a paid Spotify Premium subscription plan and a smartphone with Wi-Fi or mobile data connection.
Carthing.spotify.com. I'll add my name to the list just to see.
Do you have a premium Spotify?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, nice. Spotify is one of those that I just didn't get into. So
I did it whenever Google Play Music was first talked about dying, and then it didn't, and then it died.
That'll happen.
And I just ended up keeping it because as far as the interface goes, I still like it better than YouTube Music. For the most part, there are some quirks I still don't like, but it's just... Also, when I click next, like when I'm in my car on Spotify, it's instant. Like, it's just right into the next song, whereas on YouTube Music, it's usually like at least a second of wait time, which doesn't seem like a big deal, and it's not, but it's just like so nice when it's no pausing.
But how much of Spotify's playlist that you're playing has the next song downloaded, or how much of them, or do you have any music preloaded on your phone from Spotify, or do you know? If you don't, because I could see YouTube Music because the YouTube Music is fairly quick on me, but it's because I'm usually playing it from a large list of downloaded stuff. I
have some stuff downloaded on YouTube Music, but I don't have a whole lot. Most because I don't have like a playlist that I just listen to. I usually just pick whatever's on the list because I don't know what I would listen to.
So that's why you also tell it to download just the general my super mix list.
Oh yeah, that would work.
So my downloads, I have told it to, or my settings, I basically maxed it out. I was like, download high quality and some ridiculous amount. I think it was like, well, I guess it's not that ridiculous. I think it's only 300 songs. Oh, it's 500 songs. So I have 3.5 gigs of songs downloaded. But that's 500 not in my collection songs. I still have playlists that I've made, and I still have, because I like my playlists, I've added them. I refine my playlists. I refine various playlists. I could probably do better at that.
How do I tell what I have downloaded? Oh, never mind. You wouldn't know this because this is Spotify.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why I was going to ask you.
Well, okay.
Makes no sense.
On Apple, can you go into the settings of... Actually, you can. Yeah, go into your storage, into your settings. you might not see how much. Actually, you should be able to see how much is media, because I bet Spotify will at least identify it as separate media, not actual apps.
No, it'll just count it as app data. Like, it won't be app data, it'll be app cache.
I feel like it separates that. Maybe
I'm trying to find out how to get to there.
go look at you're supposed to go to in your settings, I think it's storage or hard drive or...
It's not hard drive.
Yeah.
I thought it was in general and then about and then click on capacity, but you can't click on it in there.
Let's see if the iPad is much different.
It'll be the same thing.
So settings and the one thing and that other thing, and apparently I don't remember where it's at either.
Oh, when's the last time you looked at your iPad?
Actually, I just recharged it today after not looking at it for a very long time.
Oh, well then there you go.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, this has been a while, hasn't it?
Let me turn back off airplane mode.
Yeah.
Oh, I could probably just search.
Oh yeah, that's probably a great idea. In fact, storage, it's in general. Yeah, it'll totally show you what.
Yeah, so if I click on Spotify, it just says app size and then documents and data. And a tabular list.
Ah, go. Come on.
So
You don't have media?
I'm not in that view. I just clicked on Spotify directly.
Oh,
But mine is still calculating.
yes.
It has to, like, it knows how much space is being used, but it doesn't know of what type. So it's working on that right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of calculations going on. It's thinking.
But no, I don't have any media stored on mine.
Oh,
Like,
apparently-
okay, I think I have the U2 album, but that's just because I never deleted it. The one that they gave you automatically
Yeah,
for free.
the one that everyone who had an Apple product at the time got.
Yeah. So, yeah. Phew. Look at that little small bar graph. I can't even tell what the rest of the
That's funny.
colors are.
I don't know. So I'm like, why can't I click on this? I thought I used to be able to click on this and make it bigger. I guess not.
No, and then you click on, like, just click on Kindle, for example. That's all it shows you.
Boring.
Because that's all that really matters. It is kind of annoying, though, because, like, if you click on that, you can't just clear the cache. I wish there was a way to clear the cache without deleting the entire app. There's not.
I was a little worried that my system was taking up more of my apps. I feel much better now that I have way more apps than I have system storage stuff.
How much is your system taking?
Hey, that's much better now. As soon as I rotate the microphone. Hey.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. I was like, why am I so quiet? The listeners were like, what are you saying? Well,
Wait, I thought that mic was...
No, it's not.
I thought it was omnidirectional.
No, it's not.
How do you know?
Well, what you do is you see this little button down here?
Yeah.
That's usually where on a mic that faces you. That is the direction where the mic is.
Switch it. Turn it.
Fine, we'll turn it around. Am I still? Yeah. That doesn't work.
Well, I've been using mine wrong for a long time then.
Aha.
Because it's the same mic.
If I talk up here, it's even quieter, and I sound really annoying.
Actually, that one's not as bad.
I'll just stick with the normal spot. But
Because the other way, it sounded like muffled and far away.
true. So
I just thought that mic was omnidirectional, at least on the sides. I knew you couldn't talk into it from the top, but
it looks like you should, but it doesn't. So, do you have any famous last words?
not today.
All right. My famous last words is to deal with math.
Why math?
Because I found out that 10 plus 10 is the same thing as 11 plus 11. Do you know what 10 plus 10 is?
Yes, but I feel like there's a twist here that I don't know.
So what's 10 plus 10? Just tell me.
Are you talking binary?
No, I'm not talking about what is 10 plus 10.
10 plus 10
Just say the answer.
is 20.
Okay. So 11 plus 11 is?
Mathematically, it's 22.
Yeah, it is. It's 22.
You bastard.